Realtors are saying things at listing appointments that not only cost them the listing, it's costing them their reputation. And here's the crazy part. Most of them were taught to say these crazy things. They think they're, building rapport, but they're killing their authority and they don't even know it. And so in this video, I'm going to break down the absolute worst things you can say at a listing appointment. And more importantly, I created a guide that shows you exactly what to say to not only win listings, but get listings that actually sell without ever having to sacrifice your integrity or your standards. If you want a copy of that, I'll drop a link in the description. Okay, so here's the difference between top listing agents that sell 70, 80, 100 homes a year and everyone else. You see, top listing agents go to listing appointments to interview the seller to determine whether or not they want the listing, while everyone else shows up at listing appointments and begs and pleads for the listing. So I'm going to show you what that sounds like so you can stop doing this if you're one of the agents who are saying one of these things. Number one is over complimenting the seller. Saying things to a seller like, oh my gosh, your home is so beautiful, or this is one of the nicest homes I've seen in a long time. It seems polite. It seems like you're winning the like category, but it's not. It's silently shifting the frame. And again, you're unaware that this is happening. The moment you start over-validating a seller, you've communicated to the seller that their listing is the prize to be won, and you are the commodity. When you keep telling sellers how beautiful their home is, it's not rapport. It's actually giving up control. Flattery automatically puts you in this category of agents trying to please the seller versus serving the seller. Remember, you're not there to convince the seller to work with you. It's the seller that should be working to impress you to take their listing. Now, you might be saying, yeah, right, Brandon. No, this is what's really going on. If you want to list homes in high volume and actually get them sold, actually get paid, actually be respected, then you need to be the one asking the questions to identify their motivation. Is this someone who is worth pouring into? If not, I got a question for you. The only reason you would go to an appointment and actually be the one trying to convince somebody of something is because you're no good. It's because you're actually not good at listing and selling homes. You aren't actually an expert. Because if you're sitting there saying, well, if I get a listing, I know my stuff works. I know that if someone lists their home with me, they're going to get an amazing experience. I'm going to get it to the closing table 100% of the time. Then there is no convincing to be done. The second worst thing that you can say at a listing appointment is saying things that give you up as the authority and automatically make you the applicant. Let me explain. When you act, behave, communicate in a way that would suggest you are trying to win them over, you're attempting to convince them to use you as their listing agent, you have automatically put yourself in a subservient status. And this is the last thing that you can afford as a listing agent, which is why most agents end up working with buyers their entire career. Instead, top listing agents make sellers convince them that they are motivated, realistic, and ready to actually list their home, but not just list their home, actually ready to sell their home. So all these phrases, which I'm about to share with you, make you sound like you're trying to be chosen, not the one who's choosing who you actually work with. Saying things like, oh, I'd love the opportunity to earn your business. Or if you pick me, I'll do everything it takes to get your home sold. Or I love this one. I'd be honored to list your home for sale. The second you start talking like this is the very moment that you lose the authority frame. Top agents never apply for listings. You see, top agents are the prize. They know they can go out there and actually get a listing that has high motivation with somebody who actually has to move. So they're not concerned with just getting any listing. They're only concerned with getting the right listing. These agents go to appointments to evaluate the seller, not the other way around. The third worst thing you can say at a listing appointment is sugarcoating things and telling sellers what you think they want to hear. And this is probably the most common, right? Agents sugarcoat everything. They sugarcoat the condition of the property. They sugarcoat the actual real price in which it needs to be listed at in order for it to sell. They sugarcoat their compensation. They sugarcoat the process. They sugarcoat how brutal showings are going to be. They sugarcoat the entire process. Why? In hopes to win people over, because they're scared if they actually tell people the truth that they won't list the home with them. So they are notoriously guilty of over-promising and constantly under-delivering. They end up setting these unrealistic expectations that ends up ruining the relationship with the client and putting their reputation on the line. They say things like, oh yeah, this will be no problem to sell. Or yeah, we'll get this sold in no time. Or this one, oh yeah, we can get that price, no problem. And so here's the ultimate dilemma. You might be like, yeah, but Brandon, sometimes this stuff wins me listings. Okay, well, let me ask you a question. What's worse, not having a listing or having a listing that you know won't sell with someone who is upset with you, who's someone who's willing to write a bad complaint that keeps you up at night? You get to decide. See, when you avoid the truth to keep the peace, you signal to the seller the opposite of what most sellers want. You're telling the seller that you fear conflict and that the seller is indeed the leader and you are subservient to the seller. Authority is earned by calmly telling people the truth, not by avoiding tension. The mindset has to be respect over likability. Too many agents are too obsessed with getting people to like them. And as a result, not only are people not liking them, because, I mean, let's be honest, don't you feel when someone's making things seem better than it really is and faking it? Of course, everybody can feel that. And so don't think for 1 second that the seller's like, yeah, you're only saying this because you want my business. What does a seller actually value? What do they actually want? They want an agent to be forthcoming, transparent, upfront, set good expectations, tell them the truth. This is what most sellers want. And so your mindset of, oh, let me just, maybe I can kind of sugarcoat this a little bit and I can navigate, I can massage this a little bit. I'll make this sound a little bit better in hopes that they like me. This is costing you clients. Number 5 is the compensation. See, this is a difficult one for low producers that are really, really desperate for money. They say things like, I typically charge X, but I'm willing to do what it takes to earn your business. Or they say things like, well, as far as compensation, I'll match any commission that you heard if it means that we'll do business together. And the second you start justifying what it is that you charge, you have instantly lost all credibility. Because the reality is, think about this for a second. What is another characteristic that every single seller wants in their listing agent? Oh, that's right, a strong negotiator. You are demonstrating in front of the seller the moment something difficult comes up, like them asking you about how much you charge. As soon as they see your inability to negotiate your own income, how do you think that signals to the seller when it's going to come time to you negotiating their home's equity? It doesn't bode well for you. Number 6, desperation or neediness. Any statement that hints to the seller your need for this listing instantly kills trust, because the seller's thinking, okay, this person actually really needs this sale. I don't know if what they're telling me is real or if they're just giving me this line of BS just to get my listing. So agents say things like, oh, I'd love to get your home sold, or this would be a great property to market, or I'd really love to help you guys make the move, or I'll do whatever you need me to. I just want to help. Things like this signal to the seller that you are in low demand. And as a result, you're a commodity. There's no prize for the seller to win in hiring you. And thus, the seller controls the frame. The seller has all the power. The seller has all the leverage. Your authority grows when you can demonstrate selective detachment. You're there to advise, not chase prospects. And listen, if you're sick and tired of losing listings to other agents, or worse yet, being treated like a commodity that sellers just simply don't respect, I'm going to introduce you to an agent here in just a second who is not just winning listings, but he's winning listings without jeopardizing his integrity, or worse yet, having to cut his commission. In fact, he's going to explain how he's winning listings, being the agent who is interviewing the seller so that he gets to pick and choose the people he works with. If you want to see exactly how he's doing that, watch this video next.